On a frost-bitten Christmas Eve, in the quaint town of Everfrost, the Harper family prepared for their annual Christmas celebration. The Harpers were a picture-perfect family, loving parents, John and Mary, and their two children, Emma and Tommy. Their home was adorned with shimmering lights and garlands, a towering Christmas tree in the living room, and mistletoe hanging in the doorway. As guests arrived, laughter and music filled the air. The children played, while adults indulged in festive treats and mulled wine. But as the clock struck 9, an unsettling chill crept through the house. The once warm and welcoming fireplace flickered and dimmed, casting long shadows across the room. A sense of unease began to tangle with the festive spirit. Emma, the eldest child, noticed it first. The mistletoe in the doorway swayed gently, even though there was no breeze. She pointed it out to Tommy, but he shrugged it off, lost in his new toy. As the night progressed, the mistletoe's movements became more pronounced, almost as if it were alive. Meanwhile, John and Mary started to feel an inexplicable dread. Guests began whispering about feeling watched, and the festive cheer turned to nervous glances. The family dog, Max, growled at the mistletoe, his hackles raised. Around midnight, as the family gathered to exchange gifts, a piercing scream shattered the merriment. Emma was found in the hallway, pale and trembling, staring at the mistletoe. She stammered about seeing a shadowy figure lurking near it. John, trying to maintain calm, checked the house, but found nothing amiss. The party quickly unraveled. Guests left in haste, leaving the Harper family alone in their once joyful home. The children were put to bed, but sleep eluded them. Mary decided to remove the mistletoe, thinking it was the cause of the evening's distress. As she reached for it, the mistletoe seemed to recoil. A cold gust of wind blew through the house, extinguishing all lights. In the darkness, whispers echoed as if from a distant past, speaking of a forgotten tragedy tied to the very mistletoe now in their home. John lit a candle, and the family huddled together, their hearts racing. They listened to the whispers, which told a tale of a long-ago Christmas in Everfrost, where a family met a grim fate under that same mistletoe. The story ended with a warning. The spirit of that tragedy would linger until it could claim another joyful Christmas for itself. The Harpers realized they needed to rid themselves of the mistletoe. With trepidation, they approached the doorway. But as they did, the shadowy figure from Emma's account appeared, its eyes gleaming with malice. The family froze, realizing they were not alone in their home. In a desperate act, John threw the candle at the figure, setting the mistletoe ablaze. The shadow let out a haunting scream and vanished, along with the malevolent atmosphere it had brought. The Harpers spent the rest of the night awake, shaken but safe. Christmas Day dawned, but the joy was gone, replaced by a deep sense of gratitude for their unharmed family. The incident became a whispered legend in Everfrost, a chilling reminder of the shadow that can fall even on the brightest of celebrations. The Harpers never hung mistletoe again, and every Christmas they remembered the night when their festive home turned into a stage for an ancient, vengeful spirit. The story begins a week before Christmas, as the villagers were busy decorating the market square with twinkling lights and festive garlands. A stranger arrived in town. Cloaked in a heavy, tattered coat, the stranger's presence was unsettling. Their eyes, a piercing blue, seemed to hold secrets as old as time. The villagers, though wary, welcomed the stranger with hesitant smiles, attributing their discomfort to unfamiliarity. The following morning, the villagers awoke to find the market square in disarray. Decorations were missing, and those that remained were torn or tarnished. Whispers of a curse began to spread, with fingers subtly pointing at the stranger. Despite the fear, the villagers redoubled their efforts, restoring the market to its former glory. As the days progressed, eerie occurrences escalated. Haunting melodies echoed through the streets at night, luring people out of their homes. They found themselves wandering aimlessly in the cold, waking hours later with no memory of the night's events. Fear began to take hold, and the joyous spirit of Christmas was overshadowed by a growing sense of dread. The situation took a terrifying turn when children began to vanish. One by one, they disappeared, leaving no trace behind. The village was plunged into chaos, with parents frantically searching for their children. The stranger, who had remained aloof, became the target of accusations and anger. On Christmas Eve, the truth was revealed. The stranger, an ageless being bound to the spirit of Christmas, explained that the village had been cursed long ago. The curse, born from a forgotten betrayal, fed on the joy of Christmas, turning it into fear and sorrow. The missing decorations, the haunting melodies, and the vanishing children were all manifestations of the curse. As midnight approached, the villagers, led by the stranger, gathered in the market square. To break the curse, they had to perform an ancient ritual, one that required unity and belief in the magic of Christmas. As they chanted and sang, the air crackled with energy. Shadows danced around them, and the wind howled like a chorus of lost souls. As the first light of dawn broke, the curse was lifted. The children returned, unharmed, but with tales of a fantastical realm where time stood still. The decorations shimmered brighter than ever, and the melodies of Christmas filled the air with warmth and joy. The stranger, their task completed, disappeared as mysteriously as they had arrived. In the end, Himmelsdorf was forever changed. The villagers learned the true meaning of Christmas. It wasn't about the decorations or the festivities, but the unity and love shared among them. Each Christmas thereafter, they gathered in the market square, not just to celebrate, but to remember the year when fear and darkness were overcome by the light of hope and the power of community. In the quaint village of Holliswood, nestled among snow-covered hills, stood the grand Holliswood Manor, a place of warmth and joy during the Christmas season. The village was abuzz with the annual Christmas Eve gala, hosted by the well-loved Hamilton family. The manor, adorned with twinkling lights and festive decorations, welcomed guests from near and far. The evening began with the arrival of guests, each greeted by the Hamiltons with hearty smiles and warm embraces. The manor was alive with the sound of laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the sweet aroma of gingerbread and mulled wine. Among the guests were the Graysons, a young couple new to the village, who looked around in awe at the splendid decorations and the towering Christmas tree that graced the grand hall. As the night wore on, Mrs. Hamilton shared the history of Holliswood Manor, which had been in their family for generations. She spoke of its traditions, its joys, and its one unsolved mystery, the legend of the unseen guest who appeared every Christmas Eve, leaving behind an unclaimed present under the tree. Outside, the weather took a turn. Snow began to fall heavily, blanketing the village in white. Inside, a sense of unease began to creep among the guests. The jovial atmosphere slowly gave way to whispers and furtive glances. The Graysons, sensing the shift, felt a chill that wasn't from the cold. As midnight approached, the guests gathered around the tree to exchange gifts. That's when they noticed an elegantly wrapped present that hadn't been there before, with no name tag. The room fell silent, the air thick with tension. Mrs. Hamilton, pale and uneasy, whispered, "The unseen guest." Suddenly the lights flickered and went out, plunging the manor into darkness. Screams echoed through the halls, followed by the sound of something unseen moving swiftly among them. When the lights returned, the mysterious gift was gone, and so was one of the guests. Panic ensued as the guests searched the manor. The Graysons, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, discovered hidden passages and rooms long forgotten. Every creak and whisper of the old manor heightened their fear, as the line between reality and legend blurred. In the attic, they found old diaries belonging to the original Hamiltons, revealing the tragic tale of a lost family member who vanished on a Christmas Eve, never to be seen again. The diary hinted at a promise made, a return foretold, but the details were maddeningly vague. As dawn broke, the manor settled into an eerie calm. The missing guest was never found, and the villagers spoke in hushed tones of the curse of Holliswood Manor. The Graysons, forever changed, left the village, but the mystery remained, a haunting reminder of the unseen guest who walked among them.